Good morning, everyone. Amazing to me anyway, in these times when the concept of time is a mystery, I have been the chair of the C3 Kids Committee for 5 years. In February, I am turning the chair position over to Charity McMaster, who's willing and qualified and already deeply involved in the C3 Kids program. In fact, Charity, Shannon, Greta, and Robin are the backbone of the C3 Kids program. And Claude has made his own invaluable contribution to our gatherings in the months since we returned to face-to-face meetings. I would also like to thank the rest of the C3 Kids Committee, Charity, Patty Baldus, Sally Alderink, and Sandy Kate Stevens. And I'd like to express my gratitude to Mary for staying at the helm when we could not meet in person and for remaining committed to an evolving C3 Kids program. During the actual pandemic, it sometimes felt impossible to stay connected with the 24 or so children that had been part of our community. Since our return to face-to-face gatherings, the committee's goal has been to invite kids back, to attract new kids, to help Mary by volunteering on Sundays, and to stay realistic about what we could do and what we could not do. Soon we will begin planning a fluid curriculum that will better connect kids to what is happening at the gatherings while still providing unstructured time for creativity and play. I will still serve on the C3 Kids Committee because I enjoy it. Whenever I volunteer, I always experience a few notable moments with this or that child. Recently, a child in the program asked me to read to her from some fairy tale books that she had brought from home. Those of you who know me know that I live for this sort of moment and this sort of invitation. From my late 20s to my now 70s, because of my writing, I've thought about what it feels like on the inside to be a child or a teenager, more than is actually normal for most adults. I believe that most adults forget the struggles of their childhoods and what these struggles felt like on the inside, both the typical identity and family challenges that are a necessary part of growing up, and the less typical and more tragic challenges that some children face through no fault of their own. Forgetting childhood difficulty is normal and sometimes necessary as a survival strategy. I had a friend once who asked me to read a novel he had written about a boy whose parents were divorcing, a brutal divorce. I reported back that his story was a good one, well told, with many strong elements, but that there was a kind of blankness in the character of the boy, an emotional blankness. I told him if he was going to strengthen the novel, he needed to think about the emotional life of that boy, to sit with it, to bring it to the page. I happened to know that some of what he was writing was autobiographical. He said that he couldn't do that. It would be too painful. And he abandoned his novel rather than exploring his own wounds. I understood. But my task is to remember, to imagine and remember, even when this is hard. It is my job. This morning, I wanted to share some thoughts about what a child, any child, needs. I'm turning to a book that a friend recommended to me about childhood trauma, and also about new and concerning toxicities for children in the modern world. The book is titled The Myth of Normal by Gabor Mate, and the title refers to the fact that there's no such thing as a normal childhood, because every child must adapt to the situation that they are born into, and sometimes this involves hiding, detaching from the body, and keeping silent. In Chapter 9, Mate lists 4 things all children need for successful human maturation. He refers to the research of Gordon Neufeld, one of countless experts in child rearing that Mate references. So I am quoting Mate, who is quoting from Neufeld. All children need an attachment relationship, a deep sense of contact and connection with those responsible for them. All children need a sense of attachment security that allows the child to rest from the work of earning the right to be who she is and to be as she is. All children need, this is number 3, all children need to fully feel their emotions, especially grief, anger, sadness, and pain. They need the safety to be vulnerable. Kent has addressed through his myths and stories the consequences of not permitting or protecting this state of vulnerability, especially for boys. Toxic masculinity is real and can be deadly. All children suffer when there are obstacles to processing and expressing difficult emotions. And the 4th need is one that I feel that C3 as an organization can make its own singular contribution to. Children need the experience of free play in order to mature into adults. Neufeld says authentic play is agenda-free and interactive, engaging joy and imagination and involving person-to-person contact. Stress and deprivation makes this kind of play impossible. And I believe that it benefits society at large to encourage children to play like maniacs, play like their inner lives depend on it, because guess what? They do. And when you enter the Woodbine room and see the boys and girls playing with the dollhouse and the auto shop on the floor, or cutting out shapes for a collage at the table, or playing catch around the room with something soft and easy to catch, you can see that C3 has the privilege and opportunity to provide the kids who come to us on Sunday with authentic, agenda-free play. You can see radiant innocence and wonder and wild creativity in the room. It's right here, and we are committed to this phenomenon. I'll end with a quote from Raffi. Some of you may remember him and his beloved music for children, songs that celebrate the radiant child. Raffi says, "At its core, child honoring is respect for personhood." Honoring children is respecting personhood. It is my ongoing hope that at C3 we can help with this urgent task in small but reliable ways in 2023 and beyond. Thank you.